Right, so my first ever spray painting has dried. So I'm now not very happy with where the, as you can see, where the paints run a little bit here and there. So I'm gonna redo the skyline, and then I'm gonna just show you where how to put a bit of a wave in. So I'm just gonna spray a little bit of green underneath where the wave's gonna break, which would be sort of here. And then I'll give it a little bit of a blow dry off. Bring in a bit of dark blue just by the skyline here. And just bring that sort of in behind this white here. And then we're just going to bring in a little bit of white. Make sure that is white. Yeah. Just a little bit of white along here. And then I'm just going to go over with a little bit of a lighter blue on this front bit here. And then back over with a little bit of dark here. Now, I never spray painted before, so it's actually something new to me that I'm learning. I've always painted with acrylic, so and I've got a couple drips here, so I'm just going to give it a blast off with the hairdryer. Like so. Now I've got some Phthalo blue, some Cerulean blue, ultramarine and ochre yellow. So I've just mixed it into, I've just made my palette up, and these are the sort of palette I'm going to be using. So we're going to go for a very thin brush, which I'm going to water up here. And we're going to just get this, I've put a bit of black in with my Phthalo blue. And I'm just going to come along and just, all I'm doing is twisting my brush, because we want a little bit of reflection going on in this sea. So we're going to just give it a little bit of movement. So it's looking like there's a bit of movement going on here. Quite nice size sort of waves going on, like so. just bring these sort of colours in here. And then I'm just working. Now this is a really, this is sort of 100 by 50 centimetres, this piece. So personally, I find it easier painting large. When you give me an intricate piece of artwork, I do find it that little bit difficult. I am self-taught, so everything I do is just really by following, reading up and following tutorials and attending art college many years ago, but my techniques are influenced by probably Bob Ross in lockdown, if I'm honest. But it does really help with my mental health. So I just want to make art accessible to everybody, and if you've got an old piece of board or anything at all, then just get painting. Bringing a few more here, and as I said, I'm just rolling my brush. That's all I'm doing, is rolling my brush like so, and then naturally the reflection's going to come in here, so I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit and just really go at the front of where I've gone. So I'm just going at the front, give it a bit of water, and just make that movement like so. And as you can see, where the white's going in now, that's just giving it the sort of look of a shadow sort of coming here. And then we're going to move it along. So a little bit of light blue. I haven't gone predominantly white because I want to keep the white for the crest of the wave, really. So there we go. And if you're not happy with something, then just work it out and move it along a little bit, water it down, or you can always go over it at a later date, really. So there's like 4 colours going on now. There's the background colour, the light and the dark blue, and I'm just now bringing in the Pi Phthalo blue with black at the back, and then with a little bit of, so Pi Phthalo blue and the yellow mixed together with a little bit of white, just to highlight it up a little bit. So there we go. And we're just going to do some at the front here. There's a highlighted area. So it's going to be quite a choppy day. Like so. And really the white, I really don't bring in until the very end of my paintings, because otherwise they seem to get sort of lost otherwise. So there we go. I'm just bringing it along here. That little bit there I'm not very happy with, so I'm just going back over it where we had quite a dense piece of what sort of light blue, and then where you can see the green, this is going to be our wave, so it's going to be sort of the highlighted area underneath of the wave. And then I have to say I've I enjoy doing the seascapes, but waves is something new to me as well, so it's quite nice that I'm doing it together. And then the back bit, I'm going to go for the darkest sort of blue that I've got, which has got the black in it. I'll put a little bit more black in my colour, which you cannot see, so I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. That's my cat Belle, who wants to come in. Come on in, Belle. So what I'm doing, I'm mixing up now the Phthalo blue with a bit of black here, like so, and I'm just a little bit too dark. Let's go a little bit lighter. I just want it to be a little bit of a contrast from this bit here, really. And let's just bring in a little bit here as well. So I'm very lucky in that, living in Plymouth, we are surrounded by beautiful places, and the beach is very close, so I think this is where my inspiration comes from. I think we're going to have a tiny little break of a wave sort of about here, just a little one, just about there. So wash my brush out, dry it off, in with the white, and then I'm just twisting my brush here. And then I think we'll have another little wave sort of about here. Now it's quite dark, so I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. And then we'll have another sort of break about here, like so. And I'm just going to go underneath that one. And where I've got the dark, I'm just now going on the top of the dark, or the light green here, just to give it that kind of look of a more of a realistic wave. And then I just get my dry brush, and I'm just going to blend that out a little bit so it's not so defined. So I've got my dry brush, and we're just going to take those lines down a little bit again, just here. And then sort of, there we go. And then these are a little bit too defined for me as well, so I'm going to just dry my brush off because this is still wet. So, right. And I'm just moving my brush sideways like so. There we go. And again over here, I'm just moving my brush sideways just to create that movement there. And then I'm just going to just wet this little area down here because the paint's gone a little bit thick. There we go. So, and again in this area, gone a little bit thick. That's right. Perfect. Right, so this area here, I've got my little brush. Now, right underneath, I'm going to go for the lightest green that I've got, which is this one, which is the ultramarine with yellow and white. And I'm just going to go underneath this dark green. So I'm going to determine my shape of my large wave now. So it's going to sort of come over here, and then it's going to come up and then it's going to come crashing down. So this is where my wave's going to be, like so. And I'm just going to get this green underneath here. And I'm going to get it just underneath here as well, like so. And then excuse me, I'm just going to go for a darker green just to give it that, those two colours going in. So I'm just going under, I've drawn where I want it to go. I'm now just going to go back over that with this more of a prominent sort of green. And I'm going to bring that sort of down to about here. I'm just going up towards the top, so it's going up this way. So I'm just using this little brush here, and I'm just taking it up to the top. And I'm literally going round in circles just to create that kind of movement that I want to create. And I think, let's bring it sort of, I think I might bring it down here a little bit. And then underneath, I want to sort of, where that's crashed over, I'm going to bring a little fine one here. So let's go for just a line here. So, like so. Yep, that looks alright. The top of it to be as light as I can. And then underneath, a little bit darker. So I'm just bringing in a little bit darker just here, just where it's underneath. And there we go. And then dry my brush, and then I'm just going to work that. My brush isn't dry enough. And I'm just going to work that little bit here. And all I'm doing is, I've got this dry brush, and I'm just going over what I've just done. I'm taking that colour. So we've got a bit of back spray going on here, like so. There we go. And again at the top, I'm going to just now bring in a bit of white, my little brush. And where I've drawn, I'm now going to go over white. So we're going to go from here, and I'm just going along this line. I'm loading up my brush with white. So I'm going at the top of where I've been, like so. Now a lot of people work underneath the wave first. everyone's different. I seem to do it a different way. And then we're going to bring that cushion down here. And again, we're going to do the same here. So we're just going to bring that top of the wave sort of here. Like so. Right, and then I'm going to get my big brush, ultra big brush, and we're just going to create a bit of a splashback. Now I'm getting my brush and I'm pushing upwards with it. So that's all I'm doing, is pushing up. As you can see, drying my brush off so otherwise it picks up the green. And that's why you want to load the white really. Dry brush it from the bottom and you're just pushing it up really. Because we want some splash now. Like so. I do find it easier with a bigger brush, but then I'm doing a large painting, so you know, whatever you feel comfortable with really. And then again down here, dry my brush off because this is still wet. If it dries, then just get your spray and give it a little bit of a spray just to get that acrylic moving again. And I'm just moving my brush around. Let's just move that one up a little bit. Like so. So what will happen is it will actually create, when you just stand back from it for a second, you'll see where it naturally sort of decides to go, and I just generally go with that. And I'm going for the top now because I don't want these waves to be so high, and I'm just going to put a little sort of break in between these two, like so. There we go. There we are. That's it. And then I'm just going to put some, I call them veins, in underneath. So I'm just going to water down my brush and decide which way the waves are going. So this wave's going to go up, sort of. It's a little bit wet. It's going to go from the bottom up. Like so. And then we're going to have a bit of movement sort of going this way. And then just going to move that one a little bit. A little bit lighter. The movement here. And then bring in a bit more white. Again, and then it's going to sort of crush down this way then. So we're going to just bring it down sort of here. Like so. And then Sponge is another good easy way to finish off the wave, and by doing that, get your sponge, load it up with the white, decide where you want the sort of where you want it to come down. I'm crushing down sort of here, and it's going to sort of go up this way as it's breaking, and then it's going to spray down this way a little bit. And as you can see, I'm literally, the white is the last thing that I'm doing. And then we're going to sort of do a bit of backsplash sort of here. A little bit of backsplash here. It's quite a nice size wave, to be fair. And then I'm just going to bring it in a little bit more defined here. That's where it's going up. And then I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller, because I just want to get this bit here sort of in. Where it's coming down. And then we're going to have some nice sort of lip splashes underneath here. And it's just going to sort of splash back here a little bit. And then I'm going to get my big brush and just take them out a little bit. And then I'll go back over it in a minute with the white. That's it. That's it. And then let's bring that. I'm going to bring a little bit of green in here. Just sort of where another little waves come in. And that's the thing, when you once you start going with it, then all of a sudden, you know, a new wave will come in. I'm just going to load up my white again, which I've done. It's a little bit thick. I'm not very happy with that, to be fair. But it sort of gives you an idea of where it's going. It's just and then you just get your brush, load it up with the white, so you've got quite a lot on your brush. This is always a fun bit, I like this bit. And then we're just going to the top of the waves, and I'm just giving it literally, I'm just flicking my big brush here of where I want it to go. So I'm just going to sort of come back here. It's a very quite messy job, so I'm very lucky that I painted my shed. So and I'm just finishing off, as you can see, the top of it there, where the back spray is going on. And if I lift it down a little bit and go at the bottom of my brush, then you'll create different again. So you just want to play with it, to be fair. And I'm just going to sort of finish it off here, bring it out, and then we're just going to get a little bit more white. Like so. Just finish that. And And then we want a couple sort of splashbacks here where it's come through. So yeah, so it's obviously, this painting's not finished, but that just gives you an idea. I always put masking tape on the horizon because I'm not the best at straight lines, and I just find there's nothing more satisfying than pulling this off and then putting it back on again onto the horizon. It's nice and quick and easy. And then I push it back on here like so. Let's just find the horizon there. Obviously with spray paint it does go everywhere, so we've got this little bit of a line here. So I'm going to bring in a nice bit of pink. Into this area. This is a rose gold that I've got, just to break that line up. And then I'll finish it off with some white, when I can find the white. Where's the white gone? It's white, black. Let's put a little bit of blue actually. Just put a little bit of blue in there. Primer, but that should work. Let's give it a go. This is the white, yeah. And then I'm just going to bring in a couple clouds just along here. Like so. Where I've got a couple blobs, I'm just going to go back over it with a light grey. Like so. There we go. And obviously when the spray, when it dries, it'll probably look different again. But it's quite nice because it just defines that sky there. Yeah, I like that. And then last but not least, back over with the rose gold. Just give it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And there you have it. I'll just take this, I'll just take, excuse me, I'll just take this off here. There we go. And there you go. So, yeah, get painting.